a distant past, within a small village, there resided a girl named Nia. Nia was stunning. Her skin shimmered like newly pressed palm oil. Her hair flowed like a river's course. Her legs stood tall like a palm tree, and her hips swayed gracefully like a calabash floating on water. Men would pause and gaze as she passed by, while women glanced and murmured. Some would remark, "Ah, this girl is too beautiful," while others shook their heads, saying, "Beauty alone is worthless." They didn't say this because she lacked wealth or intelligence, but because Nia had a significant issue in the villagers' eyes. From the front, she appeared like a boy. Her chest was as flat as a frying pan. Even younger girls had more curves. She observed her friends, the village women, and younger girls all possessed something on their chests, something substantial, but she had nothing. At the market, young men whispered, some laughed behind her back. Girls would gesture to their chests, saying, "Nia, even the new goat at home has more than you," then laugh and clap. Feeling humiliated, Nia began padding her bra with clothes before venturing out. She shaped it until it seemed genuine. Men admired her, called her a fine girl, and pursued her. Yet, when one discovered the truth, he fled like a chicken from a blade. They always claimed it felt like being with another man, with nothing to grasp. One day, a wealthy man from another village saw Nia. He admired her full hips, long hair, and smooth skin, unaware her ample chest was padded. Ignorant of this, he approached her, saying, "You are the woman I seek. Marry me." Nia rejoiced, thanking her gods. Finally, she would have a spouse. The wedding day arrived. The village danced, drums echoed, and women sang. Nia smiled, but that night, as she undressed, the man's eyes widened, his mouth gaped, speechless. Where is it?" he stammered, pointing at her chest. "This is me," Nia replied. The man screamed, wrapped his cloth around his waist, and dashed out like a madman. Nia sat alone as the candle flickered, the night silent, and tears fell. Her husband had fled, and this was only the start. Nia couldn't stay in the village any longer. Everywhere she turned, she saw pity in people's eyes. Some whispered about the girl whose husband ran away on their wedding night, while others laughed behind her back. She had no husband, no money, and no future. So one morning, before the rooster crowed, Nia took her small bag, tied her wrapper tightly, and boarded a bus. The road was long, and the journey was rough, but she didn't care. She was going to Lagos. Lagos was big, noisy, and fast. From the moment she stepped off the bus, she knew this place was nothing like her village. Cars honked like angry goats. Traders shouted at the top of their voices, and children darted between moving cars as if they had 9 lives. Nia held her bag tightly as the crowd pushed her. Dust covered her, and the noise shook her ears. "So, this is Lagos," she whispered to herself. She went to stay with her uncle, a strict man with a face like bitter cola. On the first night, he told her, "Nia, this is Lagos. Nobody will give you food for free. You must find work." The next day, she woke up early and began her search. She walked from street to street, knocking on doors, begging for work. "I can sweep, I can cook, I can do anything," she said, but every time she heard the same response. "Where is your school certificate? You cannot read or write. Sorry, we cannot employ you." Nia was tired and hungry. She sat by the roadside, her stomach growling with hunger. That's when she met Chichi. Chichi was bright like the morning sun. Her clothes were fine, her hair neat, and she had gold rings on her fingers and a big smile on her face. "Sister, why are you sitting here like a lost goat?" Chichi asked. "I am hungry. I have no work, no money," Nia replied. Chichi laughed a deep, rich laugh, then opened her bag, brought out food, and gave it to Nia. Nia ate quickly, the food sweetening her soul. "I can help you," Chichi said. Nia's eyes shone like stars. Chichi nodded but added, "The work is not for small girls." Nia frowned. What kind of work? Chi-Chi smiled slowly. Night work, she said. Nia didn't understand, but she was hungry and needed money. I will do it, she said. Chi-Chi just laughed again. We shall see, she replied. And just like that, Nia's life in Lagos began. Lagos had changed Nia. At night, she painted her lips red, wore short dresses that hugged her body, and followed the other girls into the bright streets where men with deep pockets waited. Some men liked her face, some her big hips, and others her long legs. But many, after a few minutes, would shake their heads and walk away. Ah, this one is not complete, some would whisper. Fine face, fine hips, but her front is like a boy's, others would say, laughing. Nia heard everything. She pretended not to care, but inside, her heart burned like hot charcoal. Then one night, Chief arrived. Chief was not like the other men. His stomach was big like a drum, his fingers full of gold rings, and when he talked, everybody listened. I want that one, he said, pointing at Nia. Chi-Chi's eyes widened. She nudged Nia. Ah, this is your lucky night, my sister, she said. Nia followed Chief to a big hotel. The bed was soft like cotton. The room smelled of rich men's perfume, and the air conditioner was colder than her village breeze. The night ended, and Chief sat up, looked at her, and threw a bag of money on the bed. The bag landed with a thud. Nia's heart jumped. She had never seen that much money before. Her hands shook as she picked it up. Thank you, sir, she said, bending her knees in respect. Chief smiled, but then said, Next time I see you, make sure your chest has grown. Nia froze. She looked down at herself, then at him. Grown? She asked, confused. Chief waved his hand. You are a fine girl, but your body is not complete. Use that money and do the right thing, he said. Then he stood up, put on his agbada, and left. Nia ran back home, clutching the money. Chi-Chi, what does he mean? She asked. Chi-Chi laughed. He wants you to do surgery, my sister. He wants you to add something to your front. Nia's eyes widened. She had never thought about that before. She had dreamed of it, yes, wished for it, but to actually do it? She sat on the bed, staring at the money. What if I do it? She whispered to herself. What if I become beautiful everywhere? The thought excited her. The thought scared her. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and made a decision. Tomorrow, she would visit the hospital. Early in the morning, before the sun had fully risen, Nia and Chi-Chi entered the hospital. The air smelled of medicine, and nurses walked up and down, their shoes clicking on the cold floor. The doctor was an old man with glasses that sat low on his nose. He looked at Nia and asked, How can I help you today? Are you sure about this? Yes, doctor, Nia said, gripping her bag tightly. The doctor leaned forward. There could be problems later, complications, he warned. Nia waved her hand. Doctor, I don't care. I want to be like the other girls. Doctor sighed and nodded. All right, we will begin tomorrow. The next day, Nia lay on the hospital bed. Bright lights shone above her, and cold metal touched her skin. The last thing she heard was the doctor saying, Count down from 10. 10, 9, 8. Darkness. When Nia woke up, the first thing she felt was pain. Her chest burned like hot pepper soup. She tried to sit up, but a sharp pain shot through her body. Ah! She cried. Chi-Chi rushed to her side. Nia, relax. Let me see. Slowly, Nia turned to the mirror, and then she saw it. Her chest was full, her body perfect. She looked complete. Nia smiled for the first time in her life. She felt like a woman. Chi-Chi, look at me, she whispered, touching herself. Chi-Chi laughed. My sister, you have arrived. 2 days later, Nia stepped out for the first time. The night lights of Lagos sparkled. The air was full of voices, music, and the smell of roasted suya. Nia walked slowly, her heels clicking on the ground. She noticed eyes on her. Men stopped talking when she passed. Some turned their heads and stared, others whispered, and some followed. They offered her more money than before. Nia smiled. She was no longer just Naya. She was now Naya, the queen of the night. But 2 weeks later, something strange started happening. Nia woke up one morning and tried to put on her bra. It didn't fit. She frowned. "Did I buy the wrong size?" she asked herself. She tried another one. It didn't fit either. She turned to the mirror, her eyes widened. Her chest was bigger than before. At first, she smiled. Maybe it's just part of the healing, she thought. But she didn't know that her real problem was only beginning. Initially, Nia was happy. She stood in front of the mirror, turning from side to side, admiring herself. Her chest looked fuller, rounder, perfect. Maybe it's the medicine working, she told herself, smiling. Her clothes hugged her body better, men stared even longer, and the money doubled. Chi-Chi clapped her hands and laughed. "Ah, Nia, you are now the queen of the night." Nia felt on top of the world, but 3 days later, the happiness started, turning to fear. One evening, Nia reached for her bra. She pulled it, stretched it, twisted it, but it didn't fit. She frowned. This is strange. She tried another one. Too tight. Maybe I need a bigger size, she thought. But every morning when she woke up, her chest looked bigger than the day before. She could no longer wear her old clothes. Everything felt tight. Even walking felt different. Then came the pain. At first it was small, just a sharp pinch here and there. But with each passing day, it grew. It felt like fire burning inside her chest. At night, she couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, sweat rolling down her body. Chi-Chi, something is wrong, she cried one night. Chi-Chi sat up, rubbing her eyes. Ah, don't worry, it's part of the healing. The pain will stop soon. Nia nodded, wanting to believe her friend, but the pain did not stop. It got worse. One afternoon, Nia couldn't take it anymore. She ran back to the hospital, her wrapper barely tied, her feet dragging on the ground. "Doctor, help me," she cried, falling to her knees. The doctor frowned, examined her, and his face changed. He called another doctor. They whispered, checked. Again, then shook his head. "We can't help you," he said, stepping back. "There is no cure for this problem." Nia froze. "What? What do you mean?" she asked, her voice shaking. "Your body is reacting to the surgery. The implants are growing abnormally. We have never seen this before." Nia grabbed his shirt. "Doctor, please do something." The doctor sighed. "We are sorry. There is nothing we can do." Nia cried. She ran to another hospital. No help. Another. One. No help. Doctors shook their heads. Some whispered behind her back. Others looked at her with pity. Her friends watched as her body changed every day. Some stopped coming close. Some whispered behind her back, just like in the village. Chi-Chi held her hand and said, "Don't worry, the pain will stop." But the pain did not stop. It only got worse. One afternoon, the sun was hot and the room was quiet. Nia lay on her bed, sweating like a pot of hot soup. The pain had swallowed her. Her body shook. Her skin was cold, but inside, she felt like fire was burning her bones. Her chest was too heavy. She could barely move, barely breathe. "God, is this how I will die?" she whispered, tears rolling down her face. Then she heard a voice outside. "Free medical checkup across the road. Come one, come all." Nia's eyes opened, her hands trembling as she reached for her wrapper. Trembled. Maybe they can help me, she thought. With all the strength left in her body, she dragged herself up. She wrapped her scarf around her chest, put on a loose gown, and staggered out of the house. The small clinic was crowded. Women held their babies. Old men coughed. A nurse called names. When Nia entered, the doctor looked at her. His face changed. "Madam, what is wrong?" he asked. Nia removed her scarf and pointed at her chest. "Pain," she whispered. The doctor examined her. His hands moved up and down, pressing, checking. His forehead creased. Another doctor came, then another. They whispered. They checked again. Then the first doctor stepped back and said, "There was a mistake in your surgery. If we don't treat you, you will die." Nia's eyes widened. "Die?" she whispered. The doctor nodded. "Your body is rejecting what they put inside you. We need to take you to the hospital now." Nia felt dizzy. The world spun around her. "Doctor, please help me," she begged. The nurses rushed her to the hospital. They laid her on a bed. They brought scissors, bandages, gloves. The doctor took a deep breath. "We need to remove the bandages," he said. One of the nurses pulled the bandage. Then it happened. Maggots, white, wriggling, living maggots crawling out of her skin. The doctors jumped back. The nurses screamed. Nia saw them. Nia felt them, and Nia screamed too. The hospital room was filled with screams. The nurses covered their noses and ran out. The doctor stepped back, eyes wide with horror. Chi-Chi, who had followed Nia to the hospital, gasped. She clutched her chest, took one step forward, then stopped. The smell. It was too terrible. It filled the room like rotten meat left under the sun for weeks. It choked the air. It turned stomachs. Nia looked down and saw them. "Help me," she cried, reaching out. But nobody moved. Even Chi-Chi, her best friend, shook her head and stepped back. "Chi-Chi, please, please," Nia begged. Chi-Chi covered her mouth. Her eyes were filled with tears, but her legs would not move forward. Nia cried. She tried to stand up, but her chest was too heavy. It had grown so big that it could no longer fit the hospital bed. She could feel it stretching her skin. She gasped for air. "Doctor, do something!" she screamed. The doctors whispered among themselves. One of them wiped his forehead. Another shook his head. Then one of them turned to Nia and said, "We must cut off both breasts. That is the only way to save you." Nia froze. "Cut off," she whispered. The doctor nodded. "If we don't, you will die." Nia's lips trembled. She shook her head. No, I can't." But then the pain hit her again, a deep, burning, tearing pain. She clutched her chest. She screamed, "Cut it! Cut it off! Just save me!" The doctors moved fast. They rolled her into the theater. Bright lights shone above her. The air smelled of medicine and death. She saw the knives. Her heart pounded. Then she heard the doctor say, "Count down from 10, 10, 9, 8. Darkness. The last thing she felt was the cold touch of the knife on her skin. The world was quiet. The lights above her were dim. The room smelled of medicine and loneliness. Nia opened her eyes. She tried to move, but her body felt light, too light. Then she looked down. Her chest was empty. There was nothing left. Tears filled her eyes. She touched the bandages, felt the flatness where her body once had shape. Her fingers trembled. "It's all gone," she whispered. She turned her head, searching for a familiar face. Chi-Chi, her friends, the nurses. Nobody was there. Even the hospital staff avoided her. She was alone. Days passed. Nia sat on the hospital bed, staring at the wall. She remembered everything. How she hated her body, how she cried when men laughed at her, how she desperately wanted to be like the other girls. She remembered the chief's words. "Next time I see you, make sure your chest has grown." She had done it all for them, for men who saw her as nothing. Now she had nothing left. She closed her eyes, and for the first time, she wished she could go back to the village, back to the girl who stuffed cloth into her bra, back to the girl who still had something left to lose. One evening, The doctor came. He pulled up a chair, sat beside her, and asked, "Why did you do this to yourself?" Nia looked at him. She wanted to lie. She wanted to say it was a mistake, but tears betrayed her. "Because men mocked me," she said, her voice shaking. "Because nobody wanted me. Because I had no work." The doctor listened. He did not interrupt. When she finished, he took a deep breath and said, "You don't need a man to value you." Nia stared at him. "If you want to work, I can give you a job here," he continued. "You will start small, cleaning, helping patients, but it will be honest work." Nia's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. She had learned her lesson. She had lost too much, but this time she was ready to live with what she had. And so Nia picked up the broken pieces of her life and started again. I hope you found the story enjoyable. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, share your thoughts on the lesson from this tale, and remember to subscribe to the channel for more captivating stories like this. Thank you.